Turned on the audio
She's an
and
AI.
video.
Good luck.
You just say when.
Are we streaming?
We're ready.
Record.
Go ahead.
All right, we will call the meeting of August 3rd to order, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. We have roll call, please.
Yes. Counselor Bouchard.
Here.
Counselor Reynolds.
Here.
Counselor Sandusky.
Here.
Mayor Burris.
Here.
Counselor Christ.
Here.
Counselor Ockmeyer. Counselor Knopfinger.
He's excused. Next, we have the approval of minutes for Monday, July 20th. Have anything?
I move we approve the minutes from Monday, July 20th, regular session.
Second.
All right. Moved and seconded to approve the minutes of July 20th. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes by the council seat. Next is public comment. Any person may address the council after being recognized by myself. However, topics which are under appeal or legal in nature cannot be addressed. Please state your name and address for the record. Time is limited to 3 minutes per person. We have a chair and everything this time. If anybody has anything.
Are you good?
You good? Good? Okay. Do we have anybody online?
Nobody's online, but I do have an email to
Okay.
be read, but I would like to read it during the portion for the downtown parking.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Nobody? All right. Do you have any other announcements? No. We'll go to. All right, ordinance number 2026-02. An ordinance amending portions of chapter 71 and chapter 72 of the municipal code. Second reading and adoption.
Just getting to the right page here.
Yeah.
So, this is a follow-up to, last meeting where we introduced this as a first reading. So this is the, cleanup of chapter 71 and 72. That's removing some overlapping, some outdated and difficult to enforce provisions. And then also clarifies vehicle and property storage restrictions on city streets. This will establish a 72-hour parking limit for vehicles and prohibit the storage of boats, trailers, RVs, anything like that on city streets. I've had a couple of calls, spoke with a couple of council members about some calls that people have received about this topic. And want to clarify that the idea here is not to prohibit anybody from parking an RV on the city street and loading it for camping, right? You bring it in on a Thursday night, you want to load it up and then have it ready to go for first thing to leave Friday morning. We're not looking to go out and ticket you for that. What we're looking for is the long-term storage of RVs and stuff. I believe, and Councilmember Oppenheimer, if I can quote you on this, he told me that he went out driving the other day and found 67, I think was the number you told me, vehicles just in a small section of the city that would qualify under this. We would hope that the first portion of this would be, as with all of our enforcement activities, we aim for education before we move to citations and such like that. So this is something that we will utilize our code enforcement people to go out and educate over the next 30 days before this ordinance takes effect. And hopefully people will find them. You can move the RVs into your driveway. When you do so, we're not going to be taking a tape measure to find out where the right-of-way line is to make sure that you're not hovering in it. It's just to get it off the streets and make our streets a little bit cleaner. As this helps for public works with our street sweeper to be able to get through and help with that. It helps with some of the other things that we've seen problems with over the last couple of years. So this is the second reading for that. It also removes bicycle licensing, bicycle rental, parking meter coin collections. We don't have our chief of police going out and collecting coins from parking meters anymore. And all of those things. So the first reading was held at our last meeting. There were some edits that were requested. We've made the prescribed edits. In your packet, I hope you've noticed that we've also changed the formatting of how we presented this to you. So anything with red and a strike through is what goes away. The black is what is staying from the original language, and anything that's yellow highlighted is language that is being added. So we hope that clarified what was going away and what was being added to it. And we'll use that form going forward. But that's the presentation on that one. Any questions from the council?
Anybody? No? Well. Who wants to make a motion?
I mean, I would just say, I mean, no questions, but I would just say, as Sean said, I mean, I kind of wanted to see, what's the scale of the issue? And I mean, driving around, taking an evening drive around, it's a significant issue in the city. And so far more than I actually, we see a couple here and there. But as you drive block by block, there's a lot of inoperable vehicles parked on the road. There's a lot of trailers, and a lot of it in disrepair. I mean, I would imagine they don't move. They got weeds growing under them. It was eye-opening, how big of an issue this really is in our city. So.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question of Terry. You've been really dogging it here with us about solutions to do with parking issues you've identified. Have you had a chance to look at this? Does it address those? Or some of them?
I think that's the next one.
That's the next one.
That's the next one. Never mind.
I'll catch you on the next one.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
It's on the list.
Let me pull it up here. I would move that council adopt ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance amending portions of chapter 71 and chapter 72 of the municipal code.
Don't we have to do the second reading first?
Oh,
Yeah.
You make that part of the
Second.
ordinance.
Motion by title only.
By title.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure, perfect.
By title.
I think you,
That's what I said, right?
yeah, I like it.
Just
Do we have
heard
a
that last
second
part just now.
Second.
for second reading by title and adoption?
And that's both 71 and 72.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Can you please read it by title only?
Yes. City of Tillamook ordinance number 2026-02. An ordinance amending portions of chapters 71 and 72 of the Tillamook Municipal Code relating to traffic control and parking and declaring an effective date.
So is that a good enough motion for both, for adoption and everything?
I think, yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Let's move to ordinance number 2026-03, an ordinance amending portions of chapter 72 of the municipal code related to downtown parking. First reading by title.
Okay, so this is the first time that we are seeing this one. This is also chapter 72, so there may be a little bit of confusion. And I just wanted to make sure, there was a question that got brought up to me last week about, once we had sent the language out, about why the table of contents in this ordinance did not reflect the changed table of contents from the past ordinance. And that is simply because the past ordinance doesn't take effect for 30 days from today. And so we are presenting it as it's currently written, but those table of contents will change as these ordinances pass. We have had a lot of discussion. We could maybe call it bedlam, lots of kvetching about things that are going on here. And I'm really a tingle that we can get this ready to go and get this next one off our plate. So After lots of discussions, and most recently at the May 18th, 26th council meeting, we have developed a parking permit concept that is intended to provide additional long-term parking options for downtown businesses, employees, and residents. The code that you're seeing tonight does not actually implement the plan. It changes the code so that we can implement the plan through resolutions and fee changes later on. Our goal as a staff is to have this up and operating by October 1st if the council approves this ordinance. The way that the parking program initially will work is this will take the parking lot, which is west of the Eagles, we call it the old library lot, from the Eagles Lodge to the library, that has 27 parking stalls in it. The idea there is that those would become our tier 1 or premium stalls, where initially for a fee to be set by the council, we are proposing somewhere around $250 a quarter. You can buy a pass and we will only sell 27 of those passes. The idea being that that parking lot, if you have a pass to that lot, you can park there and nobody else should be parking there. You don't get an assigned stall, but there should always be a stall available for those 27 permit holders. This is addressing having some of the stalls available that people can reserve for residences or employees to come in and park there. The other stalls that are under city control, and I want to make sure that we are very, very clear, the city does not control the Safeway lot, right? We don't control every lot within the city. Averils have a lot that you can go and have a private lot that you can pay for a specific stall. The lots that we are talking about are the West Ivy lot. So this is behind the Dutch Mill and the Chamber of Commerce. That is a public parking stall. And the Stillwell lot, which is just across to the south, the first 2 rows on the easternmost portion of that parking across from Flavors on First. If everybody knows where we're talking, we can pull up a map if need be. Those lots currently are public parking lots that anybody can park for 4 hours at a time. What we are proposing is a second tier of parking pass that we can sell as many passes as is necessary as people want to buy. That does not guarantee you a parking space, but what it does is allows you to park in excess of the 4-hour parking limit. So when code enforcement or traffic enforcement comes around and you've got a pass in there, they're not going to chop your tires or time you to see how long you've been there. So you can park for as long as you need to. This was designed to help employees that have shifts that go longer than 4 hours. These can be purchased by individual employees. They could be purchased by businesses. You know, if Terry over at the Dutch Mill wanted to buy 3 or 4 of these that he could have that his employees could go and grab and stick in their mirror, they could do that, right? These are not being tracked by car model or make or license plate number. It is just a pass that you hang in your mirror, and that if you have that pass, you would be exempt from the 4-hour parking limit for those lots. This does not include the Tura lot, which is immediately next to the Stillwell lot at this point, until we finalize the IGA with Tura and get a new lease for that parking lot, because we don't control that as of right now. But as we add that, this ordinance would allow us to maintain this parking pass program in city controlled lots, not just city owned lots. It's one of the text changes that we had to make to it. Our initial thought for the tier 2, and I hate to put tier 1, tier 2, but for this other style of parking, was to make those about $600 a year, which would make them about $150 per quarter. But with both of these, the 2 things that we were looking for was we didn't want to undercut Averill's parking lot or any other private lot that is selling stalls. So that's why we're priced a little bit higher than what we know their prices are. For I call them the get out of jail free, that tier 2, you know, you're not restricted by the hours. We wanted to make them so that they would be available and there would be incentive to get that instead of getting parking passes. Now, there could be a thought that we want to lower that price, at least initially, to incentivize businesses to purchase them. I'm not 100% on the price of the passes right now. And that's something that the council, by all means, you set the prices, we'll bring back the resolution for you. I'm open to questions, Brian.
These tier 1 and tier 2, are these 7 days a week or Monday through Friday? What is it?
Right now, it's just under the current pass schedule, which is Monday through Friday. But we would essentially enforce them 7 days a week as we could. We haven't proposed changing the downtown parking hours that would be enforced, but that is something that we could look at.
So what's the difference between tier 1 and 2 besides the location? Is tier 1 24 hours and then tier 2 is?
Tier 1's 24 hours, and we're only selling a limited amount of those with the idea that if you have a tier 1 pass for that specific lot, you should be able to drive in and there should be a spot available for you guaranteed. Whereas with the tier 2, we're still inviting the public to come in and park for 4 hours at a time, as we always have. So we're intermingling pass holders and non-pass holders so that if you don't have a pass, you're stuck to the 4 hours. If you do have a pass, you can park for long.
Got it. And what is the cap on the tier 2 parking pass?
There is no cap. We can sell as many of those as we want.
Is there a cap on how many hours you can consecutively park there?
It would fall under our 72-hour
Okay.
parking, just like the streets and everything else. This does not, I'm sorry, Dee.
No, go ahead. I just had another question. Finish.
No, I was just gonna say, these parking passes are only for the parking lots. This does not anticipate any changes to the 2-hour on-street parking or for loading zone areas that are under code now 20 minutes. The
Yeah,
Mary.
I just had the April lot you're speaking of, is that the one across from the museum?
across from the museum, the
Yeah,
bus depot.
And so a thought I have on those people have a guaranteed spot. My wife used to have them.
Yep.
And so you might be able to price the tier 2 under that because you're not guaranteeing them the same kind of.
And the tier 2 is priced.
Oh, I
underneath
thought
that.
you had said that you went out just a
No.
little over, so you
The
didn't.
tier 1 is priced a little
Oh, I
bit
see.
above that.
Okay.
The tier 2 is not.
Misunderstood. Sorry.
And my understanding is, so tonight though, first reading of this ordinance, all of the details around the actual parking pass program will be brought back for fees, all that stuff.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think we have some time to work on that. That's not necessarily tonight. I shared with Sean so it's my understanding, and because it sounds like I heard differently though. The parking passes for like, especially like tier 2, like the kind of shared ones, they'd be looks like Monday through Saturday, not Sundays or holidays.
That's what our
So-
current ordinance reads.
Okay. And then, and I shared with Sean a little bit, like I would actually, I'm gonna probably advocate for a lesser tier 2 cost. Just for, I think, a lower barrier, encouraging people to get the pass rather than try and skate the system and then get caught and get a ticket and then come back and get a pass. I just think that I think it shows the intent of the program is we need revenue to have the nice parking areas, to have the enforcement, but at the same time, we're not trying to get rich off the back of somebody parking. So, that's where and Sean and I talked through that, and we can talk about it as it comes forward. But
I still have a couple other things
Okay,
on my
cool.
presentation, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So one of the things that we've talked about and that I'm sure we will hear tonight is that none of this means anything without enforcement. And what we've talked about with the downtown business community is that if we do a parking pass program like that, we have to price it such that we can afford to hire a part-time enforcement officer that is specifically and singularly focused on traffic and parking. The minimum amount that we need to accomplish that is roughly $22,000, right? So in theory, if we were to sell 27 annual passes for that Eagle lot, that would provide us enough income for that parking enforcement officer. We are not offering an annual pass right away, mostly because we want to tie an annual pass to our fiscal year in July. And we want to give a gauge of how popular these are going to be to start out. If we can start this by October 1, we would have 3/4 of the year available for parking to where we could see how this really works and works out any kinks before we start charging an annual fee for somebody on that. The other, I'm sorry, Hope.
For the
I'm
20
sorry, I didn't.
Oh, no worries, no worries.
Yeah.
I'm hiding behind Brian. For the 22,000, is that like a part-time employee, like 15 hours a week, or what does that entail?
Roughly,
Got it.
it's no benefits, it's a part-time employee. And when we would advertise for that position, they would fit under the police department as our current code enforcement with the instructions that their schedule is random throughout the week. We don't want them always working 10 to noon, Monday through Friday. They should be, 2 hours or 4 hours one day or 5 hours one day in the morning, 5 hours a couple days later in the afternoon, come in on a Saturday. Sometimes we have a not to exceed cap on our part-time hours that were limited in state law, but everything else would be work at the discretion of the police chief under that
Right.
type of format.
What's the hourly that's the 22,000 is based on?
We haven't discussed what an hourly wage would be for that. We just know that 22,000 is kind of the minimum number of cash in hand we have to have before we can even advertise for a position to ensure that we have the money to pay them out of our budget.
Got it, thank you.
I guess my caution on that, what I would want to see happen, I guess, is it's a chicken and egg at that point, right? So if there's no enforcement, there's not a lot of incentive to buy a permit.
So we have talked with our code enforcement officer and the police chief with the idea that there would be specific times going out and an increase of enforcement as we start this program to work on that and to make sure that our current code enforcement, and one of the things that we're looking at is the passes that we will design for this or that we have designed. They're ready for an ordinance to go into effect so I can press print and have them done, is something that it makes it very easy for the code enforcement person and actually helps them get through the parking lots faster to know who's legal to park there and who's not.
Anybody else?
The only other thing I have before this is the parking fine amount. Did you want to chat on?
Thank you. So when we were going through the ordinance, and you'll see in there were lots of caveats to the minimum fee in the ordinance. And one of those caveats is the parking fees is $5. And that is what our current maximum fee that we can charge a parking violator in the city, which for most people, that's not even a slap on a wrist. That's just we wad the paper up and throw it away because it's not worth even fighting or doing anything or even paying it. So my first thought is there's already a penalty in there and the penalty was set at $250. Let's just make all the penalties $250. And so that's what it reads in your language tonight is $250. But after we got to looking at a couple of things and I did some research about what parking fees are around the region in the state, the maximum parking fee in the state that I have found is about $75 for a parking violation. And I don't think we would qualify under the 14th Amendment of excessive fines and such like that if we were 3 times the maximum anybody else is charging in the state. So I do think as one of a friendly amendment on this is before we bring it back to the second reading is to come back with a fine. Our attorneys say we should have a not to exceed. We have to keep it under $1,000 so we're not getting into the criminal stuff. But we can put back a line that says parking fees are not to exceed something or a minimum of $50 or $75, not to exceed the total penalty of $250, depending on how that goes. We can draft some language, but you're right. We do need to bring that back down to reality. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see it amended down to, whatever you think. I mean, whether it's 50 or 75 as a minimum, I kind of think from an enforcement, like, you also need a maximum, because if you have a habitual person who doesn't seem to care about a $50 parking ticket, it should get ratcheted up to
Mhm.
where until they do care.
Mhm.
Like,
The pain's enough.
and so, what that looks like in the fee schedule can be yet to be determined. I do think that, you know, if I was to get a parking ticket, I mean, I think $50 is even like, I'd feel it. I'd be like, oh, shouldn't have done that. I think 75 is a real hitter, and I would support that too. But I would, if I was setting a minimum and maximum, I'd probably go for the 50 up to, I don't know, I'd probably set a maximum of 500, to be honest with you. I mean, not because I think that that's going to be handed out, but because I think that there are people, frankly, in downtown that park that regularly, knowing they're not supposed to now. And I think at some point, if $50 you don't feel it $50, you should feel it at $100. And,
So forth.
and so forth. And if you get to a level of where you're, 5-6 tickets in and you're at $500, like, I mean, at that point, I'll take the revenue.
I know when I got my parking ticket in Hawaii when I was over there, by the time you pay all the fees and the little this fee, it was $75. By the time all the little fees are done, it was right at $75.
And one of the things that we're looking at is we have to be careful on this because one, we want to put this just in our ordinance, we're not tying it to the state criminal code, so we're not subject to giving the state all the money that comes from that. We have to put the penalty in the ordinance itself. Because if we don't, sometimes the judges will say there's no penalty for this, even though we can put it somewhere else in the code, they won't go look at that. So what we're looking to do is bring you a consolidated fee schedule where all of our fees, so our planning application fees, our towing fees, anything that's labeled a fee is on one place where we can have it, where everybody can see it. But the penalties would remain in the code as the penalty for that individual infraction or that, as we cite you for that. But that's basically my presentation. The edits that you see in the code are the technical changes that allow us to institute a thing like this. We will bring back an official program as part of a resolution to institute the parking passes. And then when you're ready, I'm ready to read the email that we received this morning via the website.
Okay. Yep.
What's the next timeline then?
So we'd like to start selling passes mid-September. So we have this for a first reading tonight. We would hope that this would come back for a second reading at your August 17th meeting, which would mean that the ordinance would take place 30 days from then. And then probably at the first meeting of September, bring the resolution for the fees, setting it up so we can start selling mid-September, so passes can be effective October 1.
Anybody
That
else?
allows us time to change signage or anything that we need to do in the parking lots.
All right.
I move that we,
I think he wants to read something.
that's right, you gotta read your email.
I'm gonna read the email and I'm
Email.
sure there's somebody in the audience that wants to
Oh,
talk
I see,
about it.
okay, my bad.
But that's up to the mayor and your discretion on whether you want to let them do that or not. This is from, and I apologize if I butcher the name, this is from Caitlin Robich. Good morning. I'm writing in response to the city saying they're going to take away more parking for the public for employees. First and foremost, I see multiple businesses leaving downtown. With the cost of benefits for any city position being higher than the pay, I don't think financially it's beneficial to hire a new position just to deal with this and at the expense of already struggling brick and mortar businesses. As a female, especially a mother of small stature, the only parking lot I feel safe parking in and have not had issues with homeless is the small head-in lot east of the old library, 3rd and Ivy. This would be the Eagles lot I think she's referring to. The high visibility from the roadway, little shade, and proximity to many businesses make it ideal for patrons and uninviting for homeless. Please do not take this away from us. Very recent closure of multiple businesses downtown, ever-growing adoption of remote work, and vacancies. I think it's best to look into the actual need for employees right now and ensuring businesses who have parking lots are using them for parking. And that ends with a question mark. ODOT coming in to replace non-ADA compliant sidewalks could get back parking they took away, or at a minimum, open up Second Street back up for employee-only parking outside of planned events. Again, question mark. We are glad to see the right-of-way storage ordinance is going in. Best, Caitlin.
Thank you. Now you could.
Okay. You have any? Okay. I move we take it, first reading. As written.
Wait, sorry.
No,
I have a small concern, regarding the language that needs to be changed with the minimum fine and the max fine. If we don't have specific language to put in, I don't know that we can pass second reading
Mhm.
next time. So is that something that?
so that has to be
figure out
settled tonight.
To add into the.
We can,
State law was max 1,000.
state laws max 1,000. How about if we put a maximum combined fee of $750? I want to avoid that $1,000 just so there's no question. And say we set a minimum parking fine of, I mean, do you guys want to go 50 or
50, I
75?
think 50, yeah, somebody like me, I don't have a lot of extra money.
Yeah,
Floating around in my own life, and so, I mean, I'll pay you a $50 fine, obviously, but
yeah,
that's a tag deep enough for the average person, I think.
to make you
I got the
think
message.
twice about parking
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I've never gotten a ticket here, so I don't know, but, I don't want to either.
So on the language, it says the fine for each violation shall be established by resolution of the city council, but shall not be less than, this says 250, we could put not less than $50 per violation.
So what we would do is the parking fine, because we need to leave that 250 for other fines that are in that chapter. But we can say parking fines separately shall be no less than $50. And we could draft that.
That's,
Everybody good with 50? Yes.
Just, that's how it was before. You'll see in the red strikeouts, there is a line specifically for parking.
We're better with that than 500.
Yeah. It stings.
And then will there be the maximum not to exceed?
And then in the maximum language, we can put a maximum for the total penalties for all penalties in this chapter. The maximum shall not exceed a combined 750
So that's cumulative.
cumulative. So you can get an individual $50 fine, but the maximum would be.
And if somebody does hit that max and doesn't care, what do we do?
I think we have other avenues that we can go
They
to
get
from there.
impounded.
We can impound and such at that point.
used to.
Ultimately, the justice court has their system for collections, so you'd be sent to collections to get the money. So one point or another, we would get the money. Impoundment of car, it's an option, but I don't, that's a process.
It's expensive.
I mean, your issue here. And frankly, if somebody would push it, right, I could pay an equivalent of $750 in fines. Or $1,000 for a parking spot. $750 in fines, I can park wherever I want.
Yeah.
So if it's,
Maybe
if
leave it at
it's a cumulative. And there's a maximum of what you can. What you can accrue in a fine each year, that throws a little bit of a. You know, and I wouldn't put it, I mean, frankly, if I was over on Pacific somewhere and I wanted to park right by my front door. If I was tossing up $750 or $1,000, I'm paying the fine. You know, sometimes it's cheaper to pay fines than it is to.
And if they pay off their fine, does it start over? Or is that cumulative a year?
It doesn't say cumulative to a year, it just says cumulative in that, so I don't know if there's a reset or how that's worked in the past. I mean, those are questions I can definitely ask. I mean,
Yeah.
I think for Chelsea's point, I think we have the guidance of language that we can come back to. And then we can bring that back at the second reading and we can run it through the attorneys. And if it doesn't pass muster there, then we can talk about it at the second
I
reading.
think that's an important thing to take to the attorney.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a
I agree.
big piece of it.
The question I have is if your target is the middle of September, do we have enough procedural opportunities to pass all this to get there if,
Yes,
okay. So that's the question. So we could also issue
I see.
amendments.
unless the parliamentarian here.
I would like to suggest maybe not doing the first reading this meeting and getting this squared away so that we can be sure that at the first reading, if there is something else that comes up, it can be amended and we know.
Mhm.
Without having to have a legal check so that at the second reading it can actually pass. Because if we go to
So-
second reading and there's still changes, I think we have to drop it and start.
Would it make a difference though, because we restarted it? So if
Well-
we passed it tonight, then by the time we got there, if we had to restart it, we wouldn't lose anything. It'd be
Yeah,
the
you would, because
same.
you'd still have to have a second reading. You restart that timeline in 2 meetings for the meeting. So what I'm gonna suggest tonight for the council is if this is a big enough issue that you want me to go back and amend it, I would suggest a motion to table this item to pending business at our next meeting.
Well, I'm confused because I agree with what Justin just said, because if we have to start it over anyway, then what would it even matter if we did it this time tonight?
Yeah,
And we got the first reading with these corrections and then came with it set, ready to go for the second. And we're able to do it, then we wouldn't have to.
but then
If we
Yeah.
didn't, we would then have to, right?
Yeah, that,
Well,
So what's the difference,
so the corrections, we're not sure on the corrections.
right?
So you guys are voting to pass a first reading with specific amendments. So you guys need to agree right now on what those amendments are in order to pass that first reading, so we can bring it back with the amendments and then have a second reading. But if we don't know what they'll be yet, you can't really pass a first reading because it's not finalized. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
so that's why we should probably table it to the
Well,
next
that's
meeting.
why,
for the
that's
first
why
reading.
I asked the question. If we don't first read it tonight, are we gonna be stuck at the 1st of October? We're not really ready because we didn't get everything done. That's all, that's the only question I have. If this can still be put into your timeline, and follow all the procedures and we do the first reading next time, well, can we still get it done? That's the only question I have. Otherwise, I think we should hammer out the amendments tonight.
Your
Legal
first.
counsel.
Your first reading would be, if we punted till next week, that's August 17th. Your next meeting is September, the Tuesday after Labor Day.
Can
And
we do
then,
both that night?
no.
I'm sorry, Greg,
Can you do the other one after we do this one? If we approve the second reading that night,
you would approve the second reading on September 8th.
right?
And then
Can
the
you not-
ordinance takes place 30 days.
Oh,
There's,
yes.
there's a 30-day time wait for the ordinance to take effect.
So
But that
it-
puts you into October 8th. You're only losing
week
about a
behind.
week of the quarter. And we could take pre-sales or whatever. We could start working on things in the meantime. And I will also ask the attorneys if there's a pending ordinance doctrine that we can use. In the past, we've used a pending ordinance where if we know an ordinance is changing, we've had a first reading and a hearing on it, we can start to enforce based on that. And I'll see if that counts up here too.
So consensus for tabling? Or do you need a motion?
I'm.
If that's
Yeah,
the
I would
route,
like a motion if you want to table it. If you want to
move we
hammer out language, we can hammer out language.
I'm just
right here.
asking.
I just don't, I mean, that maximum of an annual, like as much as I'm probably the one that wants this hammered out the most up here. That's a pretty big sticking point for me that I would like,
You wanna get it?
I would like a legal opinion on that. Because if we're limited by an annual amount like that, like, we need to figure out. Cause that makes it makes no sense from an enforcement standpoint, so. And if we have something that's a loophole that's that obvious, once this thing rolls out. Like, I can think of a handful of people who will pay the fine. Like, out of the gate, they'd probably prepay it. They'd be like, here, just take my $750 and I'll park wherever I want to.
Yes.
So I'm in favor of tabling this. To get that
Wrong.
opinion and how we can how we can continue to find people in violation.
Incentivize, yeah.
So,
Well, I move we table ordinance number or our discussion and deliberation for ordinance number 2026-03 until 17th, August 17th.
Or your next meeting.
Next
I think that's the day.
August 18th. I'll
Just a
second
quick
that.
question.
Well, need a second first. Then we can do discussion.
I'll second.
Seconded, moved and seconded. Now
And
we
then
have
a
discussion.
question. Is it possible to hold an emergency meeting in the meantime?
I mean, there are provisions for emergency meetings. I don't think that this fits the criteria for the council rules to have an emergency meeting on this topic.
Might be some people in the public that disagree, but
It's a OGEC restriction, not even just our charter or our council rules.
Yeah, the limitations on holding an emergency meeting or having an emergency ordinance are very, very limited. And so I don't feel like this would rise to that level.
Okay.
But I can research it some more and bring an answer back if you want to call us. Now, not an emergency meeting, but you theoretically could call a special meeting for it. Those are two
Okay.
different things.
So
Depending on how soon you can get information back. From
Yeah.
legal. Go ahead.
So as much as I love that idea, I would actually love some clarification, maybe not today, but at some point of if we can call a special meeting, because when I read through the charter on these kind of specific things, I thought it said two regularly scheduled meetings, two regular council meetings, like very specific language.
You're right, for an ordinance, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right, because we have
Yeah.
to
I-
notify the public so that they can.
As
come
much
in
as
and
I
be
would love
present. Thank you.
to call a special
Yeah,
meeting,
you're
there
absolutely
was, at one point, I was like, I'd like to call a special meeting, and I was like, we can't. So it is very specific language that says two regular city council meetings.
That
So,
actually makes sense too, though.
and it does make sense the more
You don't
I
want us
thought
pulling
about
fast
it,
ones.
so,
All
yeah,
right.
anyway.
All right, any further discussion? None? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes by the council seated.
So we will bring this back at our next meeting with the changes
Okay,
for another first read.
okay. All right, next is pending business, consideration of League of Oregon Cities 2027-2028 legislative priority ballot.
Okay, so last time we said we wanted to take some more time to look at the priorities for the city to present to the League of Oregon Cities. You said you wanted to bring back tonight. I am ready with my spreadsheet of top priorities so we can tally votes. Hopefully you've all had a chance to go through those. And so I think what we should do is I will just go down the list of council members, and if you could tell me your top five, and I will, if you could give me the committee and then the sub priority, so I can quickly find it here, we'll go. Mayor, do you want me to start with you?
No, 'cause I have to pull it up.
I didn't get the.
I did get a text message
I
from
didn't-
you. I can,
I just put those, but I didn't put everything you're asking for.
I don't know what committee some of these are.
I don't either.
okay, well, we can try to,
I got them in order of like in the packet, but.
okay, that works too, because that's the
Okay.
order that I have them in. So, Councilmember Oppenheimer, do you want to start?
How many you want? 5?
Give me one and then I'll ask for the next one.
Okay, cool. Targeting prevailing wage changes. Under finance taxation.
Targeting prevailing wage changes.
Yep.
Okay,
Next one for me would be land availability and land use streamlining.
land availability and land use streamline. Okay, good.
Public meetings law clarity.
Okay, thank you.
The 2027 transportation package.
All right, thank you.
And infrastructure funding.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Christ,
I am not prepared, so I'm gonna ask for a buy.
Mayor,
I had public meeting law. Invest in community energy resilience and disaster planning,
okay,
infrastructure funding.
Let me
20
find that one again.
I know.
Thank you.
I'm trying to find it.
I got it. You're good.
Okay. 2027 transportation package. And then strengthen economic workforce development.
Okay, Council Knopfsinger is not here. Council President Reynolds.
Okay, I have,
Oh, did
land
I
ava-
skip
Yeah.
Sandusky?
yeah, you did. Go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry, John.
Well, I don't have a thing to share.
Okay,
I didn't do it.
Council President Reynolds.
Land availability and streamlining. Investment in community energy and resilience disaster planning.
Hold, please. So land use streamlining and disaster planning, energy resilience / disaster planning.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see, the next one is emergency communication system resources.
I thought I had these in the right order, but apparently I don't. Go ahead.
2027 transportation package
Okay,
and infrastructure funding.
okay. Councilmember Bouchard.
Infrastructure funding. And I did write down the page number, so if you need, if that.
No, that's okay. I'm good.
Transportation package for 2027,
Okay,
strengthening economic and workforce development,
okay,
water and workforce development. Oh, apologies. Oops. Maintain affordable energy while supporting grid hardening and modernization.
okay. Hold on, please. The water one,
Mhm.
water, did you say water workforce development or water reuse?
Water workforce development.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then what was the one after that?
And then maintain affordable energy while supporting grid hardening and modernization.
Okay. All right. With those votes tallied,
Excuse me.
it has not ranked my votes and priorities the way they were supposed to. But it's very clear that the 2027 transportation package is there. The infrastructure funding is there.
Public meeting law.
That was two. There's a lot of them with two.
Two, that's. what I
We've got a
thought.
bunch with two. So
Yeah.
public meeting law clarity, which is one that I would support. Land availability is one that I would support. Not that my vote matters, I just. I think if we have those two and then all the ones with two, that would give us 5. So strengthening economic and workforce development. The land availability and land use streamlining and the public meetings law clarity. That would give us 5 topics.
Those are the ones with two.
Those are the ones with 2.
And didn't you say the resilience and disaster planning?
Oh, you did.
Yeah, invest in community, energy resilience and disaster plan.
Yeah, so that would have 2 as well.
Oh, I apologize, I missed that one.
We're screwed if we get hit with a disaster.
Which is it?
I mean, other than the annual disasters.
Yeah,
I'm really
From
happy.
a state perspective, though.
I don't know, because I put ones when I should have put
Okay,
X's.
well, we're not gonna get
Whether
any,
they're gonna talk
there's
about
no
Oh,
funding
you
coming
looked
from
at
the
it
These
as-
local.
these are state legislative.
Yeah.
priorities, right?
But there's
I
no
got you.
funding coming from local, so there has to be something coming down from up.
Yeah.
And we know they're just gonna abandon us at that time anyway.
Yes.
So if we
Maybe,
wanna.
maybe that's
Yeah.
why I didn't throw it on there.
But if
Yeah.
it's in law, they can't.
Well, if we do that, then we have to take one of the other ones off. Which was,
I'd like to see land availability state there personally. That's
Yes.
on mine that I think is
yeah,
pretty. There's a lot of constraints on that.
So yeah, we've got 2 that are definite. That's the infrastructure funding and the transportation package. And then 4 that are tied with two.
And the land availability was one I was talking about, the one that's tied, the streamlining.
Yeah. So the four that are tied are public meetings law, land availability, invest in community energy resilience, and disaster planning, and strengthening economic and workforce development. So which one of those would you want to see cut off, or do you want to give John the tie or Dean the tie-breaking vote because they did not submit anything?
John too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, I think strengthening workforce and economic development goes with the others well. I think for me, it's between public meetings, law and disaster planning, and I think those are two very, like, they're the two opposite ends, right? Public meetings law is important to advocate as a city just because there's some wild constraints, and having a little bit more clarity and ability to not be so concerned about serial meetings and have conversations is really important for, I think it's really important for local government. But then disaster planning, I think, is really important for a community. So like, I'll just, that's my opinion. I don't have, not a hill that I'm gonna die on, but I think strengthening workforce and economic development would be a fourth, personally.
I would like to, if Dean and Chris could read it and then maybe email you, Sean, on what their preferences would be, I would appreciate that. So that they could get a say as well.
Yeah.
I will be glad to do that, but I'm sitting here a little bit egg-faced, thinking that's not really fair. I didn't do the homework, and so to those that did, they're like, oh, great, now we're not gonna do anything because those two guys didn't do their job, so I don't feel comfortable with becoming the tiebreaker when I didn't stop and do the work. So it seems odd that I would be, or even John, that we would be asked to help with that unless we had actually stopped to read, so.
You need
What
a
do you-
tiebreaker, though. I
Then
would
let John
say
do it.
The workforce development one can come out or drop lower on the list, not because I'm against it. But that's been something we've had in this county ever since I moved here in the 80s, in one form or another.
Which one was that, John?
Workforce development.
Workforce development? Okay.
The state has been involved at different levels over time, and so we still have that. I don't know, maybe I'm being way naive, but I think that it's more of a priority to have disaster services or other things that have been mentioned here.
Can I throw a curveball?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear.
If I'm reading the tea leaves at the state level, not of you guys, I have a sense that no matter what, the league is gonna advocate for public meetings law
Yeah,
clarity.
they are.
I think that's gonna be, every other community is gonna vote that one. So if it were me, I might say I would give that one and choose like the disaster relief planning one that maybe other cities are not as keen on, just so that you can elevate that one, and that may be a tiebreaker at the state level. Because I think municipal media or public meetings law is so far afield that it's gonna win in a landslide on any ballot that the league puts out. That's me reading tea leaves. I may be wrong, but
I would be fine with that because I agree with them.
Me too.
Brian,
That would allow you to do the other five.
Okay.
Yeah.
there you go.
Good
Okay.
point.
I will cast that ballot.
Shrewd answer.
I like it. So. Do you need a motion for that? Or just staff direction? Just staff direction.
I
We're
think
good.
that's just
That's good.
staff direction.
Yep,
I think we're good
perfect.
with it.
I like it. You good? All right, moving on to new business, resolution number 2026-021. A resolution authorizing the city manager to designate to execute a lease purchase agreement and any related documents for the financing of a vacuum truck.
So in your budget was, we talked about this with Public Works. They're going from 2 vacuum trucks that are old and decrepit to a new vacuum truck. So this has been a budgeted expense. We have the lease documents in hand, but because of the amount of the lease and the total purchase price of the truck, this is a lease to own option. And because of the total purchase price exceeding my limit, I have to get your authority to do it, even though it's already budgeted for and we've already agreed to it. So we're just needing permission to sign the documents via the resolution. Jamie, do you have anything to add to that?
No, our first payment wouldn't be until February 5th of 27. Last one would be February 5th of 2031. It's a 5-year loan.
And at the end of that, we would own it?
Yeah. Yep.
So how much does one of these things cost?
And this one is, we're purchasing it for 510, 965.
129 a year.
Thousands.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a truck. I mean,
It's a semi.
It's huge. It's a Freightliner. It's huge.
Now we have to redo parking for the big truck.
But remember, this is gonna be used by both water and sewer.
Mhm.
We're consolidating from the two that don't work to one that does.
So our first payment isn't until February, but we've already received the truck and we can start using it?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Anybody? Other questions?
Just need a rubber stamp.
Moving.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yep.
I move that we approve resolution number 2026-021. So that we can buy one of these vacuum trucks that our Public Works Department needs.
I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Question.
Questions called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes by the council seated. All right, reports. All I have is, it's Fair Week. Go enjoy, have fun. Watch for kids on bikes, because it's what you're gonna have down Third Street. A lot of people walking down Third Street, so. That's all I have tonight. City manager comment.
Along that lines, as is our tradition, and per the policy manual, we are granting a half-day holiday to the staff on Thursday to enjoy the fair. And that has been a longstanding tradition at the city for our staff. So, that is there. National Night Out that the police department sponsors is tomorrow night over at Goodspeed Park. Come and bring your cash so you can, I think we've got Councilmember Bouchard and at least the mayor that are going in the dunk tank. Do I understand that correctly?
Yep.
Councilmember Optemeyer, we might be able to get convinced to go in.
Sorry, it's a hard pass this time.
It's for a good cause.
It's a great cause. Does not change whether or not I'm
What
going.
time does it start again?
5 o'clock,
5 o'clock.
7.
Perfect.
5 to 7 at Goodspeed Park. So, that's what we've got there. I'm trying to think of other things that we've got up. And I can't really think of anything off the top of my head and I didn't write anything down, so.
When is the next movie in the park?
Next movie in the park will be the end of August. This is the one that is sponsored by the health clinic. Is it Tillamook Bay or Nehalem Bay Health Clinic? Nehalem Bay that's doing, they're doing hoppers. This is the one that we had originally were gonna
Yeah.
show here, but then they said that that's what they wanted to show. And so we pivoted to Zootopia 2 so that they could show hoppers, just being nice. The twist on it though, they're gonna be showing it in Espanol with English subtitles. So
Interesting.
that was their choice. And since they're the ones sponsoring the movie, we let them make those kind of choices. So, I will
Do you have a
say,
date on that, specific date?
I think it's the last Friday in August. I will say, I don't know if this made it back to you at our last movie in the park, we had a family from Bend that showed up. I did a survey of people, a lot of people heard about it through Facebook, but thank you to the chamber for the spot to put the banners. A lot of people said they saw those and it reminded them to come to the movie in the park. And our banners that we have there are evergreen. So the goal is to put them up on Monday before the movie. They're up for the week and then we take them down. And it just says movie in the park this Friday. So congrats to our staff there. And the one other thing I did want to say is thank you to Tillamook Bay Community College for allowing us the use of their room tonight. This is a beautiful facility and Hopefully we can have more meetings here in the future as it suits our needs.
I have it as August 14th on our calendar.
Is it August 14th? Okay, movie on August 14th. I thought they were on the last Friday going through 2 weeks. So in a couple of weeks for that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Next is council comments. We'll start on the left. Justin, you're first.
I'm good for tonight.
Okay, Dean?
As am I. I'm good. Thanks.
Nothing tonight.
Since we will not meet again until the 17th, please note, community, that on the 17th, that is the first day back for athletics across the county. And so you're gonna have a lot of kids entering into school zones again, so watch the school zones. There's gonna be a lot of kids present, all hours of the day now. So please be cautious.
The past 2 weeks, I've had a lot of conversations with folks in my ward, specifically folks around Stillwell and Fourth and Fifth Street. And I did get a lot of complaints about derelict vehicles and extended parking in the neighborhood. And so I was very pleased to be able to talk about the ordinance changes that we have coming with our 72-hour parking requirement. So I think a lot of people appreciate hearing that and that that's coming. So I thought that was a nice little win, but.
Mayor, can I
Yeah.
add one to my comments? I
Yes.
apologize to this, but this way my brain works. Our elections timing did close for filing. Because all of the seats, and I'm gonna look to Chelsea, but all of the people who filed, there were no oppositions for any of the seats. Each seat had one person file.
Correct.
So if you filed for your seat and you get approved by the county clerk, once those signatures are verified, then congratulations, you'll be on the council again, starting in January.
That'll save time and money.
Yeah.
That'll save me some time and money.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
When do we hear
Alright.
back if there's any issues with the signatures or we need?
so
to do
the,
anything
we
additionally?
submit those to the county and then the county gives us a certificate, I think that's how it works. Or they will let us know if there are deficiencies in the signatures. This is why we put our filing date at the end of June. The state filing date isn't until mid-August, and we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of time that if there was a
So you
deficiency,
can remediate it.
you guys could remediate it, or any other candidate could remediate it. So that's why we did that. So Chelsea and I will be getting those to the county ASAP. And hopefully they'll get those signatures verified promptly.
All right.
Do you know, I think to Hope's question, do you know about how long that takes that we would know if they're gonna say anything?
Within a couple of weeks.
I think it's by the first week of September.
Okay. Then if there is an issue, is there time to correct after that?
That's
what
our
happens
goal
then?
since, I'm planning on taking them tomorrow.
Okay.
And so they'll begin their verification process. So the goal was if there were problems, so that you guys would have
Sure,
time
okay.
before the August 25th date, after
Okay.
August 25th, too late, so.
Gotcha.
We were looking out for you guys to get those signatures
Yeah,
verified.
that's true.
You have any?
Yeah, I just wanted to note the fact your daughter's getting married.
Yes,
Oh, congratulations. That's pretty great.
it's gonna be a busy week.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot. I
This
talked to your
week?
son today.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Hey, nice.
Yeah.
I talked to your son today and I'm like, how did I not know this? So,
Congratulations.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll
congratulations.
see.
All right.
Stressful week.
With that, do we excuse people first or go and then
You read and then excuse.
That's-
What about the bills?
that'll be,
After-
we're coming back in.
We've got that after.
We've
the
got that
executive
after,
session.
because we have to come back in. Yep, thank you. All right, now, city council will now meet in executive session for the purpose of review and evaluate an employment related performance of chief executive officer. Executive session is pursuant to ORS 192.6602 to review and evaluate the employment related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body, public office, employer or staff member who does not request an open hearing. Representatives of the news media and designated staff and other persons shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decisions will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. All right, we're opening our exec session.
For those in the audience that wish to stay, we will come back. You're welcome to stay in the building. We just have to vacate this room.
Thank you, guys. And then I think we're turning these off.
She's
You have
20.
these during the first.
No, she's not.
Can you push that to our turn?
And I get sweaty.
on.
Yeah.
Dean,
And it,
All right.
I turned it back on, so now's the time to.
Let's see where we're at. See how.
We're done. You can come back in if you want.
Oh,
I think if I'm reading this correctly, I lost
Is
my
that
place.
Oh, probably, I
What do we
guess.
get
no
next?
problem.
Closing discussion and authorization to pay the bills.
It was the,
How will we do
school
that?
security guy.
oh,
Do you have?
No.
How can we do that?
I have.
Oh, I know.
Get the bills without Garrett.
Yes, okay.
On the reason we had to bring this back, I do have a contractual thing that I want to bring up. This is not a total renewal or anything like that.
Okay.
There is a clause in my contract that says that I am only allowed to attend one national conference every other year. I attended the ICMA in Florida last year, and I was treating that as my one, and my intent was to skip this year. The ICMA this year is in Los Angeles. I would like to attend. We budget for this every year. It's something that every city manager prior to me has always been able to go every year. So I would like an exception to my contract so I can register for this conference. If you say yes, I will register for it. If you say no, I won't, and we will keep things status quo. But in order to get hotels and stuff, I need to register for it now if we're gonna do it, if we're gonna buy flights. So I'm just asking the council if I can register for that.
So what is the conference about?
This is the International City Managers
Oh, I
Association.
see, okay.
So it's all the city managers across the country and around the world to get together
Mhm.
once a year to go. There's classes and trainings and stuff to go. It's quality. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So,
All right, whatever. Oh, get them all.
Well, I think that's important that, I think networking is really important, especially with other city managers. And I think that's evident. Sometimes I'll ask you a question and you'll be like, oh, I'll get back to you. You're like, I talked to these 10 city managers and this is the consensus. So
Yeah.
I think events like that are really important and I'm glad that you feel it's beneficial to you. So I think it seems like a no-brainer for you to go every year.
I've said it from the beginning. We had this discussion last year, like with the tours and with that. It's not just about going on the tour. It's about networking, talking with people. I've gotten more ideas and better information sitting in a bus on a tour of roundabouts in Bend.
yeah,
And talking with people than in the actual conference. So, and if Jamie says yes and you say yes, we can afford it and this is done, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm,
as I would bring a contract renewal, that is one thing that I'd want to change is that every year I do get to go to this. But where it sits down, I'm not allowed. And I don't want to violate my contract. And registration opened a month and a half ago.
oh,
We haven't done anything because we were waiting for this to be done.
do you need a motion or consensus on this?
I'm happy with consensus and with the assumption that we will address it in any contract negotiations later.
Good, Dean,
Good to go.
Brian? Yes,
Thank you.
yep. All
Appreciate
right,
it.
and then with that, we need the authorization to pay the bill.
Well, with that, I move to authorize to pay the bills.
Nice.
We don't have Garrett here to.
I know,
do that
that's
for
That's
us.
what I said. How can I
Yeah.
do, how can we do this without
And
Garrett?
you got Sandusky seconded?
yes,
All right, could you please pull the council?
yes, Counselor Bouchard. Counselor Reynolds.
Aye.
Counselor Sandusky.
Aye.
Counselor Christ. Counselor Oftmeyer.
All right, motion passes, and with that, we will adjourn.
Hit the road, Jack.
Okay. We will bring Second Street Plaza next meeting.
Okay.
That's already on the agenda.
Okay.
I just want to